Okay, so now we're gonna grab our microblading ruler and we're gonna go ahead and position your client very nice and straight. Now you wanna find the middle center of her face, and you don't always wanna go based on the nose because nose can always be crooked. So you're gonna go ahead and really take a look and find the middle of her face. Make sure she's relaxing her forehead. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and find the middle. Usually how you can find the middle is going on this little tip of the mouth. That's gonna be your guidance. Usually that part of your face is the straight one. Okay, now just make sure your line kind of goes a little bit straight. You're gonna take it away. It's just to guide you to the center of her face. So there we are. Now you're gonna go ahead and turn your ruler, and you're gonna match the 1 centimeter point to the middle of her face. So you're gonna go ahead and make sure that matches. And now you're gonna find the 0 centimeter and your 2 centimeter, and you're gonna mark that. That's gonna help you find the center of her eyebrow. Now, we're always finding the best shape for your client's shape that goes with her face. And this shaping process that I'm showing you, it's going to find the best shape for her face. As you can tell, it's already here where her hairs are growing. That alone already tells you that it's positioned where it has to be. Now you're going to go ahead and open your ruler, and you're going to see this metal rod open up. You're going to go on the next to the nostril, on the side of her eye, and you're gonna find where her tail's going to end. Now make sure we do not pass the temple of the face. If you pass it, you can feel it right here, you're going too long, too far. Now the same, repeat the same step, and you're good. Okay, so now we're gonna find our golden ratio. This is caliber, and we want to make sure that wherever this points, it's the side of the eyebrow that you will be positioning it. So if it looks like this, that means it's going to be for your right eyebrow. If you do it like this, it's pointing to your left, it's for the left eyebrow. You're going to go ahead and point this area to the first line that you made, and then the last one to the last line you made. And when you point them like this together, whatever this middle part puts it at, you're going to go ahead and mark a line. Repeat the same step. Make sure you hold on to it really tight. And you're going to do that. And you see how it points? Okay? I'm going to go ahead and find it right here. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and find the bone underneath and between her eye socket and her eyebrow. And this is whenever you start feeling where it starts to change, it kind of rounds on her face, you're going to just place your finger in this area. And that's where we want our eyebrows to start. So you feel it, kind of turn a little over, and this is where we're going to go ahead and start. Again, we're filling all her bone to guide us where her eyebrows are supposed to be. Just make a line. All right, so now we're going to repeat to the next side. And remember, this is going to be a rough draft. You want to know where you're going to be connecting all your points. Same thing, you're going to go ahead and feel that bone. And this is where you're going to go ahead and start. So you see, you just feel the bone, kind of twist your finger a little bit, and that's where you're going to feel it. So this is what's giving us, or her face is giving us right about here. Okay? Now you want to make sure that you're going to connect all your dots. Before that, this is going to give you how thick we want her eyebrows to be. So I'm going to go probably about half a centimeter, maybe, to find how thickness I want her eyebrows. And then again, you can always go thicker after. It's just going to give you a nice little guidance on how you want it. Okay? Keep your microblading ruler like this, and you're going to follow the same step. Okay? Perfect. Now at this point, you can go ahead and use an eyebrow mapping if that's going to help you. I know it's really popular. We can go ahead and connect the lines with the mapping, and I'll go ahead and show you guys. So we're going to go ahead and take our string out. Perfect. And we are just going to connect our lines, but you want to make sure they stand out. So you're just going to go over your little lines, the middle of the her face. And now we're going to go to the front of her eyebrows and just make a straight line. There you go. You want to just make sure you see that. That way you know where everything's going to go. Now you're going to go ahead and go to the top of her eyebrow and just kind of make sure they match with the lines that you did. Bottom. Now we have her arch. We want to make sure that we stay a little bit more above this line right here. You never want the arch to be at the same length as the top of the front of the eyebrow. So we want to make sure that we just move it a little bit and we just find her arch like this. Make a nice little line. Okay. Then go ahead and make another straight line like this. Just connecting all your lines. Now you're going to connect this one to all the way here to the middle of the line that you made. Again, to just find her shape. Perfect. Now remember, we're going to connect these lines so they don't have to be perfect. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect all her lines so I can go ahead and find her shape. Make sure your pencil's sharpen really nice. That way you're able to create a nice line. Just go over your lines. Make sure you're stretching the skin as you're doing this. You're not pulling it. That's going to give you a nice straight line. And remember, your line doesn't have to be super clean. You are going to clean it with some alcohol. Now your client has really thin brows. I do suggest not to go super thick. You can always go thicker on your touch-up. I like to go ahead and make a little right here line, and then wherever the line that I made, that's where I'm going to start curving it down. The line's your guidance to know when you're going to go ahead and go down. Now tail, let's go ahead and make that tail nice and sharp. You turn your client over. You're going to go ahead and go over these lines and just connect them all. Okay. Go ahead, take a look at the shape. Move her face, and if she goes hard, just move it. Just follow your lines, make it nice and clean. Perfect. Now you can go ahead and make this line a little bit more clear and just go all the way up. That way you're able to guide you where you're going to do her eyebrows. Follow the same steps to her next brow. Connect your lines. Okay. Again, stretch the skin. And And make sure you go more a little bit above the line if you need to. Don't ever go too low. Again, it's a rough draft, so it's okay if your lines are thick. You want to go with alcohol after and clean it. Okay, so it's okay if you notice her eyebrows looking a little bit uneven. We want to make sure that we clean the eyebrow with alcohol, and we clean the area, taking out the strokes away. Then we're gonna measure her eyebrows. We're gonna have her take a look out to see which one she likes more, and you're gonna make the eyebrow that she likes the same as the other eyebrow. So you see, alcohol will be your best friend when taking all of these lines. You want to make sure that your eyebrows, the shaping looks clean when you're about to check for it. And it's normal if your client falls asleep. Just kind of take away her lines. Again, it's okay if it's not her shape, it's not fully there. You're gonna use an app and find the shape. So now we're gonna go ahead and go on our Phi app. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and go where it says Phi browse. Now you're gonna find the middle where it says a measure tool. Now you're gonna go ahead and insert, we're gonna place the phone like this. You want this circle to be where her face is at. Go ahead, you're gonna have client close her eyes. Make sure her face is nice and straight. You gotta position her. You can always tell them chin up. You don't want your client to be down and eyebrows are facing too down. You wanna make sure that you get her face to go up, chin up, and that she's straight. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and, so you don't have to put her whole face into this. You can just make sure the eyebrows, nose, and mouth area are there, and at least half of the eyebrows. You're gonna go ahead and click here. Perfect. So now we are going to find where her eyebrows are at. Like, there you go. Now I can see that her face is turned that way. That means I don't have her too straight. I'm gonna have to take that away and move her face because we want her face to be straight. Move it up. And just, there you go. A little bit more right here. There we go. Chin up a little bit. Okay. Okay, there you go. Now she seems more straight. Go ahead and repeat that step. Make sure your phone is nice and straight. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure that this white line It's in between her lash line and her lid right about here. Let me show you guys. So let's make sure that white line touches those lids. Now, some people, this will happen. You have to make sure that you grab these little circles. You move it around so the tip where her lash line is at and her lid are touching the same. I can still see a little bit here. I'm gonna go ahead and just center a little bit more up, very gentle. And make sure I find it. The line that you created in the middle, you're gonna go ahead and put your red line. That's the middle center of her face. So if you go and you close it, the line should be touching. That's gonna tell you that the front of her eyebrows are where they're supposed to go. Okay? You're gonna go ahead and grab this line and go to the highest arch that you see. I see this one's much higher than this one. So when I show her this picture, when she takes a look at her shape, I'm gonna make sure I let her know that this eyebrow is higher. Which eyebrow would she like? Okay, then let's go find her lower arch. Again, this arch is higher, this one's lower. Tail, this tail is a little bit shorter, this tail is a little bit more down. So both eyebrows are different right now. The fronts are where they're supposed to go, but not the front of the eyebrows, and the bottom are exactly where they're supposed to go. So when I show her, the only thing I'm really going to be cleaning is the arch and the tails and the lower arch. So let's have her take a look and we can go ahead and see which one she likes. Okay, so have your client take a look at herself. Now, you know, based on what you see in your app, the one eyebrow is higher than the other. Some clients will be like, okay, it's fine. You obviously not just gonna do it's fine. Shaping is very, very important. You want to make sure that the shape is good for her face and they're not uneven. Okay, so Wendy, you have one eyebrow, which this one's a little bit higher, this one's lower. Which eyebrow do you like more? So go ahead and take a look at yourself. Have client cover one eye, cover the other eye. That way she sees which one she likes more. Now both of those shapes they suit her face, but you have to make the other one match. So you could cover one eye, cover your other eye. Some clients are undecisive and don't know which shape. So make sure that you let them know which one you like a little bit more. And if you want to change anything around, just make sure you're communicating with your client.
I think I like this one more, but I would like your professional opinion.
Okay, so why do you like that one more?
I think because it's fuller. Mm-hmm. I've always, like, when I do my makeup, for some reason, I've always liked this one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. What about shape? Which shape you like more? So she's telling me that she likes more hair on this one, but we want her to tell us what shape she sees more.
Oh, okay, so I think this one, because it's a little bit
more arch.
Yes, okay. I like the arch more.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and turn around here. And what I'm going to show you here is, like, some clients, that arch is going to benefit them. It's going to move her face up, the eye. You want to make sure that the eyebrow hugs her eyes very well. You want that whatever you're going to do today is going to enhance her beauty. You don't want it to be like, oh, girl, what did you do? So she likes it a little bit higher. I agree. I like that her eyebrows are a little bit higher. You can see it here. Arch touches right there, and the other eyebrow still has a lot more to go. So now I'm gonna have her sit down. I'm gonna get my string map, and I'm gonna connect that line to where it's supposed to go. So then when I lay her back down, I just connect my lines again. Now I'm gonna take a look at her shape. I see that here her arch goes a little bit out. I might want to bring it a little bit more down if I feel like she has too much space here. Again, you can always take a look and see if it's something you're both gonna like. If it looks better, do it. If you feel like that's okay, her space, part of her face, just leave it alone. Okay, so let's go ahead and sit down. Okay.
So I don't know if this makes a difference, but I do have hooded eyes. So I have, like, a lot of skin in the hoods of my eyes. So I don't know if that would affect the shape at all.
So that's a good question. So everybody's gonna have a different eye shape. When you bring her tail down, this is what's gonna do to her eye. It's gonna show up her hooded eyes more. We don't want that. Again, you want every shape to enhance her features. By you going a little bit more higher up, softer arch, you're almost giving her that nice brow lift. Even though you're giving her that brow lift, you see she does grow some hairs under here. So it might be okay if I go a little bit under here, but again, you'll have to test it out and see. I would definitely go no lower than this line because anything lower will give her this look, and we don't want that. Okay, so now you're gonna go ahead and resort back to your Phi Brows app where you did all your measuring. This is what's gonna tell you where you need to fix. So I already know that it's the arch, lower arch, and her tail. So wherever these lines are, I need to match them to here. So let's start with the arch. You can take a look really good and see, okay, it's a little bit above a line. I know that I'm just going to go a little bit above that. Go ahead and grab your string mat. Again, shaping process is a lot of patience. You got to do this right to get yourself the best results. So have her be nice and straight, facing you. And you're going to have her open her eyes. A lot of people, some people have strong muscles. So let's say once they're open, their eyebrows might come up very, very high. And now it's important for you to know the difference. Is her eyebrow really high like that? Or is it her muscles that just kind of move around that are more dominant and bring her up and down? So let's say she's the type of client, her eyebrows kind of come up. You want to make sure that you massage it really, really well. If her eyebrow comes down as you're massaging it, it's her own muscles doing that. You don't want to match this one to go high like that. Why? Because this eyebrow is constantly going up and down. You want to make sure that she's relaxed. And a client that has that problem, you have them close their eyes. You kind of have them open it very slowly and you match it. Again, if it comes up a little bit, it's okay. You never want to match it because then she'll walk around like this while this eyebrow's going up and down. Okay? You want her to make sure you relax it, and you doing this to her muscles are going to relax the muscles. Okay, so let's go ahead and find her arch. So go ahead and grab your string. You can grab your string many ways. Make sure that it's going to be nice and sturdy. If you go right here, if I move, it's not going to go around. So that way you find it a steady hand so you're able to draw a straight line. Again, get it as close as possible as you think on your app shows. If it's a little bit off, you're going to see it on your app because you're going to redo the measuring on there. So go ahead and match here, the top of the line, and you're going to match right here. Perfect. You want to make sure the right eyebrow is straight to the other eyebrow. So when I connect my lines, I know that I have to go a little bit up higher. You want to make your shaping process as easy as you can because it could be very frustrating to find the best shape for your client. Now I'm going to go back to my Phi App. I'm going to find where this line is at. If you move this around, this line right here, this is where her low arch goes. So I want to make sure that I go a little bit higher and below that little hair that shows through. Right in that line. Okay? So I know that that's the best one. So I'm going to just go ahead and go right about here. Connect the lower. Okay, I'm going to go this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and go from the lower where I think that it's going to be. Okay, just kind of make that. Okay, just make sure that it's visible for you to see. Okay, I can see that. If you don't see it very well, just go ahead and. Perfect. So now, her tails. This tail is about here. It's going a little bit higher, which means this eyebrow, we have to go a little bit more down. We have to go a little bit more towards that area. Perfect. We're going to cut this eyebrow a little bit. And usually the tail, I do it at the last part because once you fix everything, you'll know where the actual tail has to be. Okay, so let's have client lay down so you can connect your lines. All right, so now that we have our lines, notice that we did the string mapping. This is all correct based on our map. So you're just gonna go ahead and stretch the skin. You're gonna bring this, you're gonna trace it over and then start kind of going a little bit up. And then this one, just go ahead and make a line so that way you can have them meet each other. Okay, so right here. Okay, once you have them meet each other, you grab a little bit of alcohol so you don't forget. And you can start cleaning this area. Now, if your client comes with bushy brows, you can go ahead and clean her eyebrows with the blade. Very little. You want to do your cleanup after you're done with your shape. If she's like my client that doesn't have a lot of hair to take away. You can just clean anything that's lower than the line that is supposed to be on. With a little bit of alcohol. Okay. Grab your pencil. Now we know that this is correct and this is how high this eyebrow is. So you're gonna go ahead and create a little line right underneath it. You're better going underneath than above it, and you might make it too high. So I always like to go underneath the line I made. And you follow the same shape, which is arched down here. And you make a little line right here. And you repeat the same step. You know that this is correct. So you're just gonna go ahead and stretch, go over, and start bringing it a little bit up. And just have them meet together. It's gonna make your shaping process easier than you trying to just drag the line. Again, shaping takes a lot of patience. You want to make sure that you give her the best shape. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and clean anything underneath. Again, we're just cleaning the lines underneath with some alcohol. You want your lines to be nice and straight. Always stretch the skin so you get nice straight lines. Okay. Okay, clean your lines. Now notice I haven't done the tail just yet because I want to make sure that I'm going to check the shape, and then tails I always like to do last. Okay, so now this is the last shape we had. We made some corrections. I'm going to leave the top line that I made just so it gives me a guidance when I do this. You're going to go ahead and go back, say yes, exit. Go ahead and go to measure 2 again. Repeat the same step. See if your client is nice and straight. Chin up a little bit. There you go. And you're gonna go ahead and make sure her front eyebrows, nose, and lips are inside that white line. And you're gonna take a look. So now let's go ahead and take a look. We're gonna go ahead and zoom in. Match the white line to her lash line. You see how it's not touching just yet on this area. You're gonna grab this little circle and move it around until you find it that it matches and it touches both. There you go. A little bit up higher. Perfect, they match. Center line. Go ahead and put it here. Now I know that right here I need to go a little bit lower in that corner. That's fine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and touch the top of her eyebrows. Now it's touching. This one is, I need to go very, very, very little, just to go maybe trace over the line slightly, very little. Now we're gonna go here. Now the arches are touching. Now tails are a little bit different. This tail, it comes, it's almost touching. It's just a little bit longer than this one. This one kind of cuts off. It's shorter. But remember I told you guys about this side. I'm gonna try bringing that tail slightly down to match this one and just see if she likes how that looks. Other than that, everything is where it's supposed to go. Okay, so this tail, make it a little bit more defined. Just go over your lines really quick. Okay. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and come this way. I can see these little hairs, so I think it's gonna look a little bit better if I go slightly down. Just a little bit down. Okay, perfect. So now before you show her her new shape, you know that everything, it's where it's supposed to go. And we're just gonna go over this little line like you saw. You just needed to go a tiny, tiny bit. Perfect. Go ahead and now clean your eyebrow. We are almost about to end our shaping process. Clear all her lines. You never want to show client when her eyebrows are all drawn with a bunch of lines, and you always want to make sure it looks very clean. We did see this area that needed a little bit more, to go a little bit more down, so right now we're gonna go ahead and do that. Since I brought her tail a little bit lower, I want to just make sure and clean this area. Now you can always grab a little swab if it's on the tail and you need the tail to just be very clean. You need something really, really thin to get in there. Swabs are really good for that. Okay, go ahead and clean that. The thinner your lines, the better for you. I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit here. Perfect. Now you're going to go ahead and grab some concealer. I like NARS, custard, or just any creamy concealer like this. You're going to go ahead and move this in the back of in the front of your palms, top of your palms. I'm going to go ahead and clean it around. Grab a little bit. And this is where you're going to go ahead and make sure you grab the skin very tight. And this is where you're going to make your lines very nice and straight. Very light movement back and forth. Keep your brush flat. Grab a little more if you need to. Clean it around. The tail like a very, very defined. I'm gonna turn around. Have her turn around a little bit like this. Again, make sure you give her a nice defined tail. It's gonna help you give her a very nice clean work. Again, grab a little bit, keep turning your body over. And just give her clean lines. Go ahead and turn over. Grab a little bit more concealer and repeat the same steps. Back and forth movements to give her a nice straight line. Any flat brush will work. You can turn your brush over. Turn her over like this and define that tail. Okay, again, you can grab a little bit of alcohol and just kind of clean any black from the pencil. Around. Inside. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look and we're gonna see if anything needs to still be moved around. Okay, let's go ahead and come on up. We're gonna have client take a look at the shape that we have done now. Let's go ahead. This is where you start when she's kind of looking at herself. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I like the arch.
Okay, so even though she likes it, I feel like we might need to kind of clean around this area.
I didn't like the end part, but I think
what do you mean the end part?
The tail.
Okay.
But I like the arch.
Okay, you want a tail that is more
like that one.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what she's referring to. I think she's referring more here.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and this one seems to go up a little bit and come down. Again, you want to make sure that your app is going to help you keep seeing what she's seeing, and you guys might be seeing different things. So we're gonna have client turn over in front of the light. Perfect. And you're gonna go ahead and make sure she's nice and straight. You're gonna grab your app, go back to measuring tool, and now you're gonna go ahead and measure with her face inside the circle. So now that you have it, you're gonna go ahead and zoom in, and you're gonna go ahead and find the middle of her eyes. Okay, we have the center. Just go ahead and find the arch. Arches. This one still needs to go a little bit, very, very little. You can see it. And then right here, we're gonna go ahead and go up. Arch is good. The only difference that I see is that this tail kind of goes a little bit lower. This tail goes a little bit lower. We need to cut that tail. It's a little bit longer. And we need to go ahead and go over this area. Middle of her face. Find the middle. Okay, we know that that was correct. Again, her arch here. You can see very, very little. We need to add a little bit there. Tails, low arch touches. We're just gonna make it a little bit smoother. And then on the tail, we need to cut it right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish that. And now it's very minimal. All right, so now we made the final adjustments. Now your Phi App is gonna tell you exactly where everything is supposed to go. But you also gotta keep in mind the bone structure of your client. Let's say maybe her face is a little bit more flat here and a little bit more bumpy here. Maybe bone structure sticks out here. You also gotta trust your judgment, okay? So if the Phi App is telling me everything's good to go and I'm seeing a little bit of tweaks that I have to make them. Again, trust your judgment. You're the artist. You're seeing this come together. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at her eyebrows. I'm happy with the shape. I'm able to find the most symmetrical and the most even shapes. Again, your eyebrows are not twins. They're not sisters. And we don't want them cousins. Okay, let's go ahead and come on up. All right, perfect. So she's looking at her shape. And now we're going to go ahead and just check it out one last time. Let's go ahead and turn this way. Again, we're gonna go ahead and have her stand straight. Head straight right here. Have her close her eyes, and then she's gonna go ahead and open them slowly. You're gonna go ahead and put her face in the whole circle. Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and click. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna zoom in. Go ahead and move her face around. Let's go ahead and find the center of her face. Now we're gonna go ahead and check our arch. There we go, right in the middle. Let's find her arch. It's now really good touching. Right here, perfect. And tails are perfect. Right here, you can check right here how the points are touching. Everything's good to go. Now, if you see her raise her eyebrow a little bit up, down, it's okay. We took it relaxed. So if she moves everything around, her eyebrows are where they're supposed to go.